Carbon dioxide is the foundation of most life on Earth, and it is one of the primary raw materials used by most plants to build organic matter. Climate change deniers and skeptics have used the argument that since carbon dioxide is just plant food, global warming and the increased levels of carbon dioxide as a greenhouse gas are beneficial for plants. Global carbon uptake has doubled over the past 50 years, and plant growth has been enhanced. But is this actually beneficial to plants and the earth in the long run? We will be explaining that by debunking claims made by different groups and explaining why the opposite is true. A study published by Nature Climate Change and supported by NASA states that in the last 35 years, a quarter to half of Earth's land covered in vegetation has become greener. They attribute this to the rising levels of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, finding that the increase in atmospheric carbon dioxide was the cause for 70% of the greening. In an experiment held by the Non-Governmental International Panel on Climate Change, it was found that the increased concentration of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere led to plants growing better, using less water, and an increased rate of photosynthesis. In an experiment held by the Non-Governmental International Panel on Climate Change, it was found that an increased concentration of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere would increase plants' resilience to natural disasters such as heat waves, drought, disease, pest outbreaks, and air pollution. The results from over 3,000 separate experiments under different environmental conditions conducted on 500 plant species showed that nearly every species increased in biomass. The results from over 2,000 experiments under different conditions on hundreds of plant species showed that there was an increased rate of photosynthesis. According to PlantsNeedCO2.org, the benefits of increased levels of carbon dioxide would not disappear over time. Carbon dioxide enrichment studies in laboratories and greenhouses showed that the beneficial effects of carbon dioxide would decline over time. However, in field studies where plants were rooted in the ground and could explore the natural soil environment, plants responded better to elevated carbon dioxide levels as time passed. Plants need other nutrients such as nitrogen and water. The increase of one without the others will limit the amount of growth. The same applies similarly to humans. If we just consume more calories, it doesn't help. We need other nutrients such as proteins and vitamins. Only consuming calories without the intake of other nutrients will limit our growth. The points provided by some groups mentioned above do not take into account the need for other nutrients when considering plant growth in the long run. While plants grow larger, it can be detrimental to the land, draining it of water. While photosynthesis requires less water with increased atmospheric carbon dioxide levels, growing seasons would also be longer and warmer, giving plants more time to absorb the water. Another factor is that with the increased carbon dioxide levels, plants have been shown to grow larger. This increases the surface area for evaporation if it were to rain. Computer modeling also shows that this would have an impact on runoff and soil moisture. Scientists have found that apart from northern and tropical regions, which can offset the additional plant growth with precipitation, water levels will decline in rivers and streams. Previous research has also shown an 80% chance of a 35-year or more megadrought. The beneficial impacts of carbon dioxide on plants are limited. Studies supported by NASA show that plants acclimate and adjust to rising carbon dioxide concentrations in the atmosphere. and this fertilization effect and enhanced growth diminishes over time. Plants will also become less effective at absorbing carbon dioxide. This is because carbon dioxide does indeed make leaves grow bigger. However, due to this, plant leaves will grow to be thicker. This is an issue because it decreases the surface area to volume ratio of a plant leaf, making the leaves less effective at absorbing carbon dioxide. This leads to a positive feedback loop. Higher levels of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere leads to thicker plant leaves. Thicker plant leaves leads to plants absorbing less carbon dioxide. Less carbon dioxide being absorbed leads to even higher levels of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Under climate models of atmospheric carbon dioxide levels expected later this century, the global carbon sink, or how much carbon plants can absorb, is set to lose about 6.39 billion tons of carbon dioxide because of this effect. This is a lot considering the fact that burning fossil fuels emits about 8.8 billion tons of carbon dioxide a year. Carbon dioxide as a greenhouse gas contributes to the greenhouse effect, leading to the increased frequency and intensity of certain natural disasters. Disasters such as wildfires, tropical storms, and floods have significantly increased in number over the last few decades, the causes of which have been attributed to climate change. Billions of plants have already and will continue to die due to these natural disasters, and no amount of plant resilience will be capable of preventing it. Like most arguments made by climate change deniers and skeptics, there are some aspects of truth in their claims. However, as we have shown you in this video, these claims aren't always the whole truth, or only some aspects of the truth. Overall, the increased levels of CO2 in the atmosphere only benefits plants in the short term, and the overall effects of carbon dioxide as a greenhouse gas are detrimental to the planet. And we may soon end up eating very tough spinach.